Header up.
Rog and Chris, they're on the air. Yankees, Mets, they're everywhere. From the Bronx to Queens, the diamond gleams. MLB talk, the ultimate team. NYMLB is the place to be. Rog and Chris with the pitch you'll see. Swinging stacks and stories fly. Baseball talk that's amplified.
And welcome to a new episode of NYMLB Talk with your host Rob and Chris as we cover the Mets, Yankees, and all of Major League Baseball. And if you're on YouTube, hit that sub button for us. We'd really appreciate it. You can follow us also on Twitter/X, also on TikTok at NYMLB Talk, Rob at Amaraska, myself at CP7NY. So, Rob, what's going on?
Hey, Chris, a lot is going on, and hello, everybody. We appreciate you guys being out there. There's a lot going on in baseball right now. The hot stove is starting up.
Yes, starting to heat up. Got some trades going on. We haven't had any big signings yet, right? Except for Josh Naylor. But we also got Dylan Cease, right? We got to talk about him. Dylan Cease being signed to Toronto. A lot of money. So what are your thoughts there? Let's start there before we get into the Mets and Yankee stuff, because we got a lot to talk about there. But what do you think of Dylan Cease going to Toronto?
Yeah, well, that's a 7-year deal, $210 million. I think that's going to set the tone for everything, right? What it tells me that Toronto's serious. They got a taste of it last year. This year, they came so close to winning the World Series, right? They were right there. And I think they're just going to make the moves. He went from San Diego to Toronto. I mean, think about that too. He must have really wanted playing in Toronto to go from San Diego. I mean, of course, the money he got a lot of money for it, but goes to Canada, and that just shows me that the Blue Jays are serious. What are your thoughts?
Oh, 100%, right? They were 2 outs away from winning the World Series, not just going to it. So
yes.
Give Toronto the credit, and we've been talking about Toronto like the last couple of years. They've been trying to sign guys left and right, the big signing, the big guys too, and they just haven't been able to sign any of them. So, but according to reports, $26 million. I mean, he got a decent amount. He got a nice size contract for a guy that's been pretty inconsistent. Especially the last couple of years. He's got good stuff, right? But he is a little inconsistent. But you know what? Goes to Toronto. He doesn't have to be the ace there. He could kind of slot in as the 2 or the 3. They have a good pitching staff. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go for one of the closers too, because of Hoffman, obviously giving up the tying home run in that game 7. But and they still got to sign Bichette. Can they re-sign Dante Bichette? That's going to be the big thing for them as well. But this is a good start for them, right? I mean, adding another arm, as we always say, you never have enough pitching, and they've definitely done that.
Yeah, and that Eastern Division of the American League is going to be tough. Your Yankees, they're going to have to make some moves too, because that just makes the East tougher. And I just think, I don't know, it's next. I think next season is just going to be. It's going to be an amazing season, but we have to see what the moves teams like the Yankees are going to make. What about Baltimore? Is Baltimore's owner going to start using some of that money that he has to make Baltimore a better team? What about the Red Sox? I think the East is going to be pretty. It's going to be a fight in the East, I think, next season.
Yeah, and you know what? And then you got the Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays are always tough, no matter who they have on their team. They always end up being that tough team to beat as well. And they're going back to the Dome. So that just makes them that much tougher to beat at home. So but yeah, like you said, that whole division is going to be tough. Big questions with Baltimore, like you said. Are they going to spend money this year, especially on pitching? Can they do it? You know, they already traded away Grayson Rodriguez, but they did get Taylor Ward back for the year. But then the Red Sox traded for Sonny Gray. Now, I don't know if that's going to have the same impact as Dylan Cease. Sonny Gray, you know, I think he's 36, 37 years old. You know, he didn't pitch good with the Yankees when he was here. I don't know how good that's going to be, but you know, with them, they have Crochet, right? They have the ace.
Right.
They just got to fill in the rest in that rotation. They got Brian Bayo pitched really good last year too, so I think Boston's okay. He's going to be fine. You know, if he's going to be your third, fourth, or fifth starter, then yeah, then Sonny Gray's not a bad signing. You know, if you were signing him or trading for him to be your ace or number two pitcher, yeah, then I would kind of be like, yeah, that's not great. But yeah, I think that was a big move. And now let's see what the Yankees could do. You know, I mean, they do have, you know, they do have enough pitching coming back, but it's not going to be in April. So they got to get through April. I'd like to see them get a pitcher. You know, I'd love to see them get the guy from Japan, Amai, whatever his name is. I'd like to see him get that guy. That would be nice, just to kind of fortify that rotation. And then if everybody does come back healthy, Cole and Rodon, and then later on Schmidt. Yeah, if everybody comes back healthy, yeah, it's great. It's going to be a nice deep rotation. Then maybe you could trade from it, you know. But I think you need to add to that first. So, but yeah, so far, man, it's slowly we're slowly seeing moves, right? And then the
Right.
meetings are coming up soon, so I'm sure we'll get some then too.
You know, Sonny Gray, it's a decent move for the Red Sox. You know, I'm not really crazy about Sonny Gray. I remember him with the Yankees, and he was a bust with the Yankees.
No, yeah, it didn't go good.
Let's face the facts. He was a bust with the Yankees, but maybe with the Red Sox, in Fenway, he'll be all right. We'll just have to see. So it was a decent move for the Red Sox, but it wasn't a blockbuster or anything. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
I totally agree. So all right. So what do you want to talk about? Because all right, let's talk about the moves first, and then we'll get into the issues in the clubhouse for the Mets that came out today.
Okay.
All right. So all right, let's get into the Nimmo for Semien trade, because I think this will it'll be a good segue into that discussion about the clubhouse. What do you think of Nimmo for Semien? We talked a little bit about it on the last show, but what do you think?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, listen, I love Nimmo. I wanted Nimmo probably to spend his career with the Mets, be a lifetime Met. But I also see, you know, I could see this move and what it might mean to the Mets. Clears up, you know, a little money, not much. Opens up that outfield, although now they need two outfielders, right? So they're going to have to do something. So now we know they're going to have to do something. They can't do what they did last year with Siri and Taylor, because stuff like that doesn't work. They're going to have to get, you know, maybe Bellinger, Tucker, but they're going to have to make some moves. Nimmo, you know, he was a great Met, but it wasn't working. Like this core, listen, they may have taken it right to where they could take it. And they're going to have to make some moves, and McNeil might be the next guy to go, but maybe they have to break up the core a little. So it's sad to see Nimmo go. He was a great Met, but this is just the anyway. How about you? What do you feel? What do you say about it?
Yeah, you kind of froze a little bit at the end, but I got what you were saying about breaking up the core. Maybe it was time.
I don't know. Chris, do you?
Yeah, I got you now.
I don't know if Chris is frozen or if I'm frozen.
I think you are, because I hear you perfect.
Okay, so I'm frozen and you hear me perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. I can hear you.
Has to be every day with his neck issues, plant up and being 32. Yeah. And I think that was what Stearns approached him about, on the conversation. At least that's what it was, like when he got the call from Stearns to talk about, hey, listen, there's a trade that we got going right now, you for Semien, and it's not going to go forward unless you okay it. Now, you remember, he's got the full no trade clause, so he could have said, no, I want to stay here. I want to retire in Met. I think that's what he wanted. But I think a part of him got insulted about the trade talk and about, yeah, we want, the run prevention, they want better run prevention. They heard, we heard that being discussed. So they probably want him to DH more. So I think he took that a little bit, to heart. I think he took it a little as an insult. And I thought too, I didn't hear this anywhere, but also too, like all the talk about Lindor being the captain of the team or Alonso, right? Nobody ever talked about Nimmo being the captain, and he's there longer than both those guys. So why wasn't Nimmo's name brought up? I mean, he seems like a good guy. Why wasn't he brought up as possible captain of the team? So maybe he took that as an insult. Like, hey, like all these other people are possibly being named captain. You want Lindor, but I've been here the longest, so why can't I get the nomination here? I've been a pretty good player, So I think, he probably took it a little bit because he wanted to retire. Listening to his interview, he wanted to retire in Met. He thought about, hey, I might get my number up there with the other Met greats and all that. So I think a lot of this he took to heart. And, when the trade came out, it was like, yeah, I'll okay to trade. I'm out of here. He knows DeGrom in Texas. So that probably helped that move, so. But Semien's a pretty good player, man. He's not a bad player. You're getting a really good glove at second, I think, from that side. So you're getting a good player. You're getting a good guy in the clubhouse. He's a leader in Texas. So he's going to be a leader here too. So that might help out the clubhouse issue that we heard about today in the New York Post article. What'd you think of hearing about that now? Does this all make sense now to you?
Yeah, it does. Before I get into that, let me just talk about Nimmo for a second, being insulted. I think you're right. I think that the talk of him being traded, I think it got to him because he did want to be a lifetime Met. And also they did say that DeGrom talked to him about his no trade clause. So that probably did help for him to say, you know what, make the trade, because Texas also made him, from what I read and heard, Texas also made him feel wanted. Like they said, we love you, we want you in our outfield. So, when the team doesn't want you and another team is courting you like that, what are you going to do? So yeah, I don't blame him. And yeah, I did not expect them to get traded because of the contract. And yeah, no one did.
No,
the show before it happened, last Friday night, we talked about it. We said, I can't see Nimmo giving up his no trade clause, but he did give it up. And now the clubhouse, what we heard about the clubhouse, there was an incident when the Mets were in Philadelphia where McNeil screwed up on a play. I remember this game. In fact, I think it was a 7-game losing streak when they lost that game. It was the 7th game. I remember that Lindor looked annoyed, and I think someone in the booth said something, but I don't remember exactly. But now what we're reading, that was a big deal because they got into an altercation and it was heated. It was a heated altercation. And that clubhouse, it seems like there was problems in that clubhouse, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? And McNeil, I think, has a reputation. Nobody really likes him around the league. The guy complains a lot. He's a whiner on the field and stuff like that. So, and listen, the guy's going to be 34 next year, right? I think he's 34 in April. So, you know what? He doesn't really have a position on the team right now. He's probably more of a utility guy. So I think, yeah, if you could find someone to take him, then I think he's as good as gone on the team, because he's not going to play second now. He's probably not going to play third because you got Beatty not playing short. You don't want him playing outfield. You know, you don't want to play in center or left field. So he's really got no position on the team anymore. So he's probably the next to go. It's just a matter of where, like who's going to want to take him. He's going to be 34 in April. He's got 15.7 million coming to him next year with a club option the following year at the same amount with a $2 million buyout. So you figure, all right, he's going to get paid $17.7 million for next season. If you don't buy, you know, I'm sure the team is going to buy out that second season. Right. So maybe the Mets throw in some money, you know, to bring down the contract a little bit, and you move him for something, you know, whether you get maybe a relief pitcher, you know, something, a minor leaguer, you know, you get something for him. But you kind of, like you said earlier about breaking up that core, right? This core, yeah, they were fun. They played well, but you know what? Let's be honest. They didn't win a championship, right? That's what it's all about. Getting back to the Yankees, that's what it's about. Winning a championship. You don't win a championship, then all right, yeah, you're good. But New York is about winning championships, especially for two teams. Listen, the Yankees haven't won since 2009. It's been a lot longer for you guys, so it's a little different. But yeah, it's about winning championships. So I'm sure. And Cohen said he wanted to win a championship by his fifth season, right? Within 3 to 5 years, and this is his fifth year. So I'm sure he'd like to win a championship this year more than ever. So yeah, they're making moves to make this happen.
Yeah, and we know they have a plan. Okay, we don't know what that plan is, but part of the plan has to be keeping Diaz as their closer. I feel that's Alonso's important. Yes, Alonso's important. And we've talked about this on other shows, but I think Diaz is really important. There's a closer, and you said it, we've said it, that he could close in New York. So
not everybody can do that. And you don't want to learn the hard way.
We've seen that, and listen, we do not want to see, and we forgot to mention last week we were going to talk about that. Atlanta, they were saying, well, maybe he'll end up with Atlanta because Atlanta hired the Mets pitching coach, ex-pitching coach Hefner. But I think that Atlanta signed a closer, so I don't think they'll sign Diaz, right?
I don't think so. They re-signed. Yeah, they did re-sign their closer. You would think they're out of the market for him. And I heard today that chances are the Dodgers aren't going to go for Diaz. So that's kind of pushing him back to New York. I mean, unless a mystery teams come out of nowhere and gives him, you know, a big contract, because he's looking for basically the same contract that he signed a couple of years ago with you guys, right? 5 years.
Right.
Or 4 years, 100 million, whatever it is, right? So he's going to be looking for the same thing. Listen, I think the Mets should definitely sign him. Like you said, he's a proven guy in New York. You can't beat that.
Yeah, and there are more options. Yeah.
Problem. Okay. Here's the problem. You let Alonso go too. Now you're really opening yourself up, because what other first basemen are out there to replace Alonso? Even if you were going to sign Alonso, you still might need a first baseman. So that's still open. And now, like you said earlier, you need 2 outfielders now because you lost Nimmo, right? Taylor, I don't consider him an everyday center fielder, right? He's more of a fourth guy, right? Defensive replacement, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, with the Mets years ago, yeah, I think he wants basically that contract again.
Yeah, I think so.
Expect it to be around that, maybe 4 years and 80 million, but it's going to be within that range, right? So I think that's going to be interesting. But yeah, so now this is my other question for you, or for both of us, really. Like when we look at Bellinger and Tucker now, because that's the 2 big names for the outfields for both our teams, because we both need an outfielder. You guys need a center fielder and a left fielder. Yankees, since Grisham took the qualifying offer, is going to be the center fielder. Judge will be right. Yeah. So we need more of a left fielder. So who would you want if you could only get one of those guys? Which guy would you pick for the Mets?
Well, I'd probably have to go with Bellinger, right? That's tough. Hey, I'm greedy. I want both of them, but probably
Hey,
Bellinger.
you never know. He could sign both. I mean, we're talking about Steve Cohen here, so it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, Bellinger's played in New York, so that that's very important too. He produced with the Yankees, and it's taking a little bite out of the Yankee fans there too. I'm only kidding, Chris, but
Yeah, no.
Bellinger
Hey,
probably.
listen, you don't think that's a part of it? That is a part of it. I think with Bellinger, I think you're right. I think Bellinger's better because he's a center fielder, he's a left fielder,
Yeah,
he's a right fielder, and he could play first base. So guess what? Those are two openings you got, right? Center, left, and first base. He could take all three of those positions, right? He could play either one of those three very well, by the way. So I think
that's
he's the
right.
better ad. Tucker is more of a right fielder, and you already got yourself a right fielder. So do we. But I think he could handle the left field, right? So if he could
Yeah,
handle left field, yeah, I think Tucker, Tucker's definitely the better hitter. He's definitely the better offensive player for sure out of the two. But yeah, I'm definitely I am definitely with you. I think Bellinger with the Mets, Tucker with the Yankees. Let's see if that's the way it works out. You never know. Yeah, and then
now
you got
okay. Yeah, that's true too. Are they going to give him a chance in left field now, though?
right to
You
start
know,
the season. I think maybe in May or June, give him a month or so in the minors, let him work. Unless, listen, what if he has, going by him? What if he does have a great spring training? What if he has he hits like 400 in the spring training? He's hitting everything he sees. Like, what do you do? Do you bring him up?
yeah. Well, well, that depends what they do before spring training, right? We have to see who they sign
Right.
and what happens with that. Yeah, Harrison Bader. Listen, I loved when Harrison Bader played for the Mets 2 years ago. Or a year ago, actually. And when the Phillies got him, I was like, oh man, the Phillies got him. The Mets should have went for him at the trade deadline. I liked him as a Met. He's great for defensive purposes. He's great. Look what he did for the Phillies. He really helped the Phillies out in the stretch, right?
Yep.
Even though the Phillies choked again. But I like Bader. I don't know if he's gonna be an everyday center fielder anymore, but I wouldn't mind him on the bench for the Mets. What do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah, I think if he didn't sign Taylor, I would have thought Bader would
That's
have been a
true.
good option, right? Do you
Yeah,
want? I don't
right.
know. I don't know if you want Bader to be your everyday center fielder. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's that. I don't know if he's that good where you're gonna want him to be your everyday. Plus, he does have injury issues. We've seen that with him, right? So I don't know if
Yeah,
he's the guy you
right.
want as your everyday center fielder. But as your fourth outfielder, yeah, I like him a lot. So I think we'll see. But I think the Mets got to sign one of those guys, or they're going to try to trade for somebody because there really isn't many options in free agency right now in center
Yeah,
field. That's the bigger problem,
that's true.
right?
And yeah, and the Mets, we've been talking about this. The Mets, yeah, and he could platoon. That's true. But the Mets have the pieces now to make trades with. We've said that before. They have major league ready players.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with Vientos? What's going on with Vientos? That I want to know. That's what I want to know. I
Right.
mean,
What position? Right. Where is he going to play?
you got and then you have Beatty, probably the third baseman, but why not sign Bregman? I don't, I'm just thinking of all these moves that the Mets could make.
Oh, I agree. And with Cohen, you have that option to do it, right? But here's the thing: here's the outfield options. After Tucker and Bellinger, Kyle Schwarber, I think he's more of a DH now, right? I don't think he's
Right.
considered an outfielder. But after that, there's a drop. You got Adolis Garcia from the Rangers. He just became a free agent. He's a possibility, but he's more of a right fielder. Christopher Morel, right? Ryan O'Hearn, he's more of a first baseman. Mike Yastrzemski,
Nah.
Harrison Bader, starting Marte. Do you want Marte back again?
That's another thing we have to talk about. Soto is close with him, right? We saw them on vacation.
Right.
Soto,
does Soto have pull?
to,
Does Soto have pull with the with ownership now?
I think Soto probably has a little pull. I think.
Okay. You never know, man. You never know.
Some fans, want Marte back. Some fans don't. But if Soto likes him there, and that might sway Stern, to keep Marte. But I don't know. I don't know how much say Soto has, but listen, Soto probably should have a little say at least, don't you think, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the one thing we know for sure, I think the Mets, not just with signings, I think they're going to be very busy with trades too, because they have guys, they have extra guys now. Mets would be I think with the Mets, you're going to see them make a lot of trades as well, because they got all these players, and they don't have all the spots for them anymore, right? At first base, Vientos might be working at first and third and improving his defense, but how good is he going to become, right, for first and third? Beatty looks pretty good at third. Maybe he should be the third baseman. If he's your third baseman, that's great, but then you need a first baseman. And that's where Alonso comes in, and if you let Alonso go, you got to replace that production. That's not easy production that you're getting rid of. That's a good hitter.
Yeah, listen, I want to see Pete come back. I really do. I'd like to see him be a lifetime Met. Who knows? See, it's just things are just so different.
And here's another question: Who's gonna protect Juan Soto in that lineup if Alonso goes?
Yeah.
Right?
So
you want to put Vientos? You want to hit Vientos third behind Juan Soto? Juan Soto's gonna have 200 walks this year. You know.
Right? Maybe 250.
Right. I'm telling you, he's going to walk a lot. Why would you pitch to him? You're crazy to pitch to him. The only reason why they pitch to him is because you had Alonso there sitting right behind him. And sometimes you take your chance with Alonso because, he might strike out, but still Alonso is going to, hit 40 home runs a year. You want a guy like that behind Juan Soto. So that's going to be, to get a big bat behind Soto is going to be interesting. Who they get?
Yeah, but listen, they have to do it. We've said this. Pete's is the best fit with the Mets. Okay, but you never know. Listen, I'm hearing some crazy things. I'm hearing that the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to spend. Did you read that?
Yes, I did, but I don't know. I'll believe that when I see it. Stearns and Cohn should tell him he needs to be the everyday DH from this year on. Maybe he could play a year or so at first, before he becomes a full. That's what I would tell him. Like, let's ease into DH.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, eventually he has to DH, right? Yes. I mean, he's not the greatest fielder, and as he gets older, I mean, he's improved a little. He really has, but as he gets older, he's just going to have to DH. We know that, and he has to know that too. But I guess now he's not ready to. And
they should sign someone like a Paul Goldschmidt. I'm not saying sign Paul Goldschmidt, but a veteran first baseman to come in and be that defensive replacement at the end of the games for Alonso, right? Or just be the first baseman when Alonso DHs.
Yeah, when he DH, because I don't think they want to take Alonso out of the game if it, especially if it's close,
Yeah, of course.
So that's not going to happen. But first, they have to re-sign him. What other teams are? It's weird because it's once again like last off season. It's quiet. You're not hearing a lot about Alonso yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, the guy had a really good season last year. Like, what else does the guy have to do to get himself a really good contract? I mean, every year, like last year, yeah, maybe not the best year, but I thought this year he had 40 home runs this year or 30? Was
Yeah,
it
and
30?
listen, how are you going to replace that?
It's
And
38.
yeah, he hit
Right.
38 home runs. How are you going to
Yeah.
replace 38 home runs? And why aren't we hearing anything about other teams wanting Alonso? It's just weird to me. I mean, we know why last season because his walk year last year he had a bad walk year, right? So in the offseason, it was pretty quiet and the Mets got to re-sign him. Now what's going on? Why don't you hear some of these teams, any team, I don't
Yeah.
understand it, Chris.
I don't get it either. Maybe he's so hung up on still playing first base and teams look at him more as a DH. That's the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, like I know the Yankees aren't going to sign him because we got Stanton at DH and we got Ben Rice now at first. So,
Yeah.
but I would take Alonso if I could. Like why not? The guy's still going to, even if he is going to be a more of a DH than a first baseman, the guy's still going to hit 35, 38 home runs a year. Easy. It wouldn't be shocked if Boston signs him. Boston needs a big bat, especially if they don't get Bregman. They don't re-sign Bregman. The Mets if the Mets signed Bregman, you put him at third, then you got options, right? Then you could say,
Right.
okay, is Vientos our first baseman? I don't think Beatty's our first baseman, but then you can trade those guys and get yourself a first baseman. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's just you're right. And Pittsburgh, I just want to go back to Pittsburgh for a second. Paul Skeens got a record $3.4 million pre-arbitration payout after winning the Cy Young this year. So what do you think about that? He got $3.4 million from that pre-arbitration pool that they have now. That's the highest ever.
Yeah. I would think, listen, that guy's going to be on the way out soon. I don't think it's going to be this year, but look at first base to platoon and play young guys. Yeah, absolutely. But I think getting back with Skeens, with Pittsburgh, maybe that's another reason why Pittsburgh has put it out there that they're going to try to sign guys. They're going to be big in free agency because they want to show Skeens that they're serious about winning. And if they don't start signing guys, Skeens is going to say, listen, I can't do this every year. I'm not going to be the only guy, worth watching on this team. So I'm sure he's going to ask for a trade or something at some point. And I think they'll move him. I don't think it'll be this year, maybe, because you know what? If a salary cap is involved next, if that gets involved and all that stuff. So we'll have to see what happens after next season. But yeah, I would think Skeens possibly getting traded next year, not this year. But yeah, that's a lot of money for a guy that only in his third season, but he's also got 2 Cy Youngs already. So it makes sense.
Listen, it's amazing. It's amazing that Pittsburgh is in the position they are because they could spend a little money. These teams that aren't spending money, they're what the problem is, and then we're going to go into that work stoppage, right? That's going to happen. There probably has to be a floor. You're right about that.
Oh, I think the floor is just as important as as the ceiling or as the cap itself, because you got to force these cheaper owners into spending money because they're just not spending money. When you look at the salaries of these, of these lower teams, they're just not spending enough money. And I think the salary cap, that's where I think the cap will help the most is in that sense. Like if here, just for an example, only 8 teams. Oh no, this is this year. Last year. Let's look at last year. Last year, total payroll. Okay, 12 teams spent over $200 million. Okay. 17 seems like that's the 157, 158. So, okay. So half the league didn't spend over $160 million on payroll for their team. Half the
Yes.
league. That's crazy. I think that's
It is
horrible. Like,
crazy.
how does Baltimore, Detroit, they're both in the 150s, Milwaukee, 137, Kansas City, St. Louis, Minnesota, all these teams are less than 150 million, 160 million. I
It's
think it's
crazy.
embarrassing.
It is
And the
embarrassing.
bottom 4 teams, the bottom 5 teams didn't even go over 100 million. The Rays, the Pirates, the White Sox, the A's, and the Marlins were all under $100 million total. That's embarrassing. When you got Juan Soto, what is he making? 50 million a year? Right? Judge is making
insane.
40. That's half their salary. That's half their team.
It's insane, but like, man, listen, the players union is so strong that I don't, you feel like there's some wiggle room, Chris. I feel like I don't see them giving in with a salary cap. That's why I think that it's going to be a long, if it's a work stoppage, I think it's going to be long, Chris. I really do.
I just think that if they could, the problem is the owners don't want a floor. See, that's the sad part. If they were open to doing a floor, I don't know. I'm not going to say it'll never happen, because eventually it has to happen because of how obviously bad this salary situation is. Because if you let's say if we cap it at, let's say 250, the top,
Okay.
right? If the only 1, 2, 3, only 4 teams are over the 250. Like Toronto's at 255. So the top 5 teams are over 250. The rest are under 250. So now, how much is the floor going to be, right? The floor has got to be, it's got to be pretty close to that, right? So if it's 175, right? So 175, 250, let's say that, right? The top is 250, the below is 175. God, I hope the whole season's not going to be.
Well, that's a pretty bold statement. The entire 2020.
No,
listen,
I can't see that. These guys can't be that stupid. The owners and the players.
Don't say, Chris, don't say they can't be.
Well, the owners don't care, right? Because the owners, like, their team is like their side attraction almost, right? So most owners, right? So I don't think they care. But these players, they got to think about it. Like, not everybody is Juan Soto. Not everybody is Juan Soto making $50 million a year. So if you could miss a year and be like, all right, I just made $50 million, so I'm good, right? Like, most players are making, the average or lower. So yeah, certain owners don't care. Exactly. I totally agree. And that's why I don't think, I think they want the cap. I just don't know I don't think the cheap owners want the floor, though, because if you get a floor, even if it's 150, which I don't think is that high, if it's 150, think about Pittsburgh. We talk about them being cheap. They got to spend another $70 million to get to that 150, right? Or Tampa. Tampa has to spend they have to spend 70. Miami, the Marlins have to spend almost $100 million to get to 150, which is really low when you think about it, right?
That's crazy what their payroll was this year. That's a disgrace, and it's an insult. If you think that's an insult to their 500 fans, it's
right.
Really,
it really
crazy.
Is. That's why I think if you could do some sort of a cap with the floor that's high, though, like, that's the one thing the players should come in with. So, okay, you want a cap? Okay, cap it at 300 million at the top, and the low's got to be like 200 million, right? Or something, or 150, at least there. At least get the ball rolling. At least get the conversation going. Don't just go in and say, all right, there's no cap. When every other league has a cap, right? Every other major league in North America has a cap. So it works.
Yes, but they don't have a union as strong as the Major League Baseball Players
No,
Association,
right. I
and
totally
that's
agree.
what it is. But we have all off season to talk about this and to go crazy with this. But I'm going to get into something a little fun with you, Chris, right now. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I got this. I was reading this article, and it was about players you forgot who played for the Yankees. So I'm going to name a couple of them, and I just want to get your opinion about this. All right. So the first one is Kerry Wood. He played in 2010. All
Right.
right. Do you
That's right.
remember
And then he was pretty good for the Yankees too, if I remember.
Yeah, he was. Listen to what he played in 24 games for the Yankees. He was 2-0, and he had a .69 ERA. So he was pretty good. So what happened? Like, why did he only last 24 games with the Yankees?
I think he got hurt. Let me see. 20. Oh, he
And
got
he did.
traded. and then he signed again with the Cubs after 2010.
Yeah,
So he
he
probably
was
wanted to
always.
finish with Chicago.
Yeah, he always got. He was always injured. But all right, here's another one. John Olerud. Do you remember when John Olerud played for the Yankees?
Yeah, very short time, right?
Yeah, he played 49 games with the Yankees. He batted .280. He had 46 hits, 4 home runs, and 26 RBIs. Listen, I loved Olerud when he played for the Mets.
Yeah, he's a really good hitter, good fielder too. I mean, really good player, John
It
Olerud.
was it was upsetting when he signed with Seattle after playing with the Mets for 2 years, especially since they made it to the postseason. I loved Olerud as a Met.
What was that
All
one
right,
year he hit 375 or something?
yeah,
363.
363.
He hit
Yeah,
363 one year, he hit 354 another year. Career 295 hitter in 17 years. That's pretty good.
he was. Listen, he was pretty good. All right, and I like I said, I loved him. I loved him on the Mets. Here's another one. Lance Berkman. Do you remember when he played for the Yankees?
Yes, towards the end, another one. We got a lot of these guys at the end of their career, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I remember. That's another guy. Listen, when you talk about guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame that have put up some really great numbers and you don't realize it, Berkman is another guy, right? He's another guy that you think about. You're like, wow, he had a 52 career WAR, 366 career home runs, under 2,000 hits though, 1905, 293 career batting average, 1,200 RBIs. Like that's a really good career, right?
Yeah,
6-time All-Star, won the World Series in 2011. He's going to come up a little short because the home runs are not all there. But think about this. When he was 35 years old, this was the year after he was with the Yankees in 2010. In 2011, with the Cardinals, he hit 31 home runs, drove in 94 RBIs, and batted .301 at age 35.
Listen, yeah, he was an excellent hitter. I mean, for the Yankees, he only played 37 games. He had 1 home run and 9 RBIs, batted .248. But yeah, that next year with the Cardinals, he had a really, really good year.
Yeah.
He's another one of those borderline players. Which here's another one. I know you remember this, Andrew Jones, right?
Yeah, he wasn't great with us. Andrew Jones was great at the beginning of his career.
Yes.
But right, his first 10 years was Hall of Fame, no doubt, one of the greatest center fielders of all time. Excuse me, 10-time Gold Glove in center field. But it was the back end of his career that really got bad. And he played with us the last 2 years of his career. So nothing great. 247 one year, the last year 197. Nothing, trust me, he was a shell of himself. And somebody reminded me on Twitter that he had a spousal abuse case against him or something like that. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow. I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that too. So I think maybe that might be a part of what's holding him back with the Hall of Fame. Because we talk about him. He's one of those guys that should be in the Hall of Fame without a doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're even with his second half of his career not great, his first half was Hall of Fame worthy. Like it goes without saying. But yeah, I think that's what might be holding him back, because that's what's holding back Vizquel, right? We know that.
Yes.
And a few other guys, but yeah, no, I remember, and I just remember, like, man, this is not the same guy that was with the Braves. This is not
No.
him.
No.
It's sad.
That
It's sad
happens
to
a
see
little.
that. Like you've had guys on your team. I mean, Willie Mays is the most famous, right? Going to the Mets, he was just, that's not Willie
Yeah,
Mays,
no, and and then George Foster, the
Of
biggest
course.
free agent signing at that time, and he just was not the George Foster who hit over 50 home runs for the Cincinnati Reds. So it happens a lot. All right, here's another one. Todd Zeal. Do you remember when Todd Zeal played for everybody?
I know. I was just gonna say that he's been on like 12 teams, right, or something.
He was with 11 teams total he played with.
Yes. And well, I always get, for whatever reason, I get him and Ventura mixed up all the time.
Well, they both played for the Yankees and they both played for the Mets. They both had better careers with the Mets than they did with the Yankees.
And they're both third base, right? So
yeah. Well, Todd Zeal, third base, catcher, first base. So, he played all over the place. But
yeah, we had him at 37 years old. He had one more year after us, and he played with you guys.
Yeah, he finished with the Mets. Yeah, but he batted .210, 6 home runs, 23 RBIs for the Yankees. Let me just see. And here's another one. Andrew McCutchen.
You know what? This kills me because I remember him playing. I loved him when he was with Pittsburgh. I thought, man, this guy's such a great player. And when we got him, I was so happy. And after we had him, we needed a left fielder. And I said, just re-sign him. He's perfect for us. We need him. And they didn't re-sign him. So that killed me. But yeah, I loved McCutchen. I think he played for us like 40 games, right? Same thing.
He played 25 games. He
25 games.
253 with 5 home runs and 10 RBIs. But but I mean, he still had good years.
Yeah, and he's still playing.
That.
I hope Pittsburgh re-signs him, for one more year. But yeah, I mean, he's at the end now, so he's more of a DH, I would think, at this point of his career. But he's had a nice career, right? I mean, I don't know if he's Hall of Famer, but he's up there. He's definitely a Pittsburgh Hall of Famer. They'll probably retire his number and stuff. But
no doubt. Are there any players who you remember, like Louis Tiant played for the Yankees for a short amount of time too,
Yeah.
Are there any players that you think about in that category? Like, now that I think about it, I can't believe that they actually did play for the Yankees.
Well, the McCutchen one is the most glaring one, because I remember after that year, I was like, they should sign him to play left field. He would have been perfect because we needed, and left field became our black hole there for a while. Left field and then third base were our two big holes there for a long time. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to think about that a little more.
All right.
What about guys with the Mets? Any guys with the Mets for you?
Yeah, I figured we'll do a Met one where you could come up with some Mets and throw them at me on a later show. All right. So,
you know what? Another big one too for the Yankees is Randy Johnson, right? But the time he was here was not exactly memorable on the field. But the first day he was here, he pushed the photographer or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. In the city. I mean, that was a pretty auspicious beginning for his career as a Yankee. But
what a way to start it.
It just didn't. Those are one of those, like, the uniforms just never look right on the players, right?
Yeah,
and that was one of them. Like, he just never looked right here. We had Kevin Brown at the end of his career. That was another one.
Kevin Brown couldn't pitch for when he pitched for the Yankees. Forget it. He just couldn't handle pitching in New York. So he was just one of those players. But yeah, we'll do a Met one, and where you come up with some Mets and throw them at me. and we'll do that. Do you have that picture that I gave you? Sent you of the giant glove. You want to put that up?
Yes, I got that here.
All right, let's see. That's all right. That's pretty cool, right?
Absolutely.
Rawlings put this giant gold glove up on their building in St. Louis. All right, and it's
Very cool.
It's really cool. And here's some facts about it. It weighs 35,000 pounds. All right, think about it. That's some gold glove. It's 30 feet. It's 30 feet
Is
tall.
it real gold?
I mean, I don't think. I mean, they make a lot of money, but not that much.
Not that much, right?
It's 30 feet tall, 50 feet wide. Okay, the tallest Gold Glove winners this year are Max Fried and Matt Olson. Both are 6 feet 4 inches. But yeah, that Maria, that is big. That's for sure. They say if you're in St. Louis and you're driving around, you can see that from a far distance. But I just wanted to put that up because I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I mean, and cool, I mean, if there's going to be a Gold Glove somewhere, yeah, that's where it should be, right? So
that's pretty cool. All right, here's something we didn't talk about, Chris. The Los Angeles Angels finally are going to do something about about Anthony Rendon's contract. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's got to be. Is that the worst contract of all time?
I think that probably is the worst contract of all time. That and what's his name? Pitcher for Washington. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Oh, Strasburg, right?
Yeah, Strasburg. That's another bad one. But this listen,
I mean, in 5 years with the Angels, he's played 257 games in 5 years.
He's never played more. Yeah, he's never played more than 58 games in a season, Chris.
Yeah, games played 52, 58, 47, 43, 57. And it'll be none this year.
Yeah, that's crazy. 7-year, $245 million contract. Signed it in 2019, and I'll tell you, that has to be. Go ahead.
He had 22 home runs for that, 125 RBIs, and he batted .242.
Joe, listen, I think Joe Dell could have done better than that.
Absolutely. And he probably would have played more games, that's for sure.
Yeah, he would have played more games.
But here's the thing, like, you can't blame the Angels for signing him, right? Because the year before, he had 34 home runs. He led the league in RBIs and in doubles, 126 RBIs, 44 doubles in 2019. They won the World Series. He was third in MVP, Silver Slugger, All-Star. I mean, he was a great player. Batted .319, .412 on base, .598 slug. I mean, this guy had a great season. 7.3 WAR. I mean, it just, I don't know. He got hurt. He didn't care anymore. Whatever you want to say, it is what it is. But that's what he got. That's what they
mixture of both. What was his stats for his first year as an Angel? Since you have that up.
All right, that was the COVID year. So they only played, I guess, 52 games. So he probably played the whole season. He wasn't bad. 286, 9 home runs, 31 RBIs. He was 10th in the MVP voting. I know it's the COVID year, but he wasn't horrible. Like, that was a decent year because that was the COVID year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So the first year of his contract was the COVID year. So you really can't say anything about that year because he probably played as many games as anyone else, and he played decently, he batted decently. Yeah. But after that, forget about it. What a mess.
Awful. Last year he played in 57 games, and he grab the fan last year in Oakland, I think it was.
Yeah, I forgot about
that. Oh, not Oakland. Yeah. Oh, no, that was 2 years ago then, because it was in Oakland.
2 years ago. Last year, this season he didn't play, right? So
Right, 2025. Yeah, he didn't play at all.
He didn't play at all. Oh, Joe did. Yeah, no fans in the stands change the dynamics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
well,
that was that's one of those years, like sometimes when you see a highlight from the COVID year. I still
yeah.
can't believe that year happened. Like with no
I
fans in the right? Like the cardboard
yeah.
fans. I always think it. I'm like, I can't believe that year happened. Like I don't know.
No, I can't either. And you know, and the World Series was played in Texas, so it wasn't
Right,
even,
that's right.
and the Dodgers won, but is it really a World Series?
I know. The playoffs weren't they in their own areas too? Like, wasn't the American League playoffs in Florida or something? Didn't the Yankees
Yeah,
play the Rays?
yeah,
I forgot.
but and some of them I think was in Texas too. It was, and they were
Yeah.
allowing some fans in the World Series. I think they were allowing, I forgot how many, like
Right.
12,000
Texas. Yeah.
or something,
Something like that.
something like that. That's
LCS was
right.
in San Diego. Yeah, that
That's
makes
right.
sense. And
Yeah.
the ALCS was where? Was it Tampa? In the
I gotta
dome?
look.
I think it was in the dome. No.
Well,
Man, I
we gotta
remember
look.
it wasn't I don't think it was at Yankee Stadium.
No, it wasn't at Yankee Stadium. I don't think it was at. Um, let's see.
I feel like it wasn't.
The American League Championship Series, they say that was played in Petco Park. The American League Championship Series is saying.
Oh, were they both played there? Maybe
I'm
they were
trying
both
to.
played in Petco.
Yeah, that was played in California, and the World Series was in Texas. Well, it was just a crazy season, no matter what.
It
And like
was.
you said,
I hope
and
we
then,
never see that again.
and we still have the effect. We still have the effects of that with the stupid ghost runner that we
I
complain
know.
about.
That's like a link. It's like a reminder.
Yeah, but
It happened.
before. I can't believe the hour's almost up. The show goes so fast. But I want you to put up Eric Sherman's website again.
Definitely.
He was such a great guest. The National League Championship Series was in Texas. Yeah, see, I knew one of them was Texas. It's weird how the American League was in a National League stadium, but Eric Sherman, what a great baseball historian and writer, right, Chris?
Yep.
And what a great guest he was. If you guys get a chance to check out his website, all right, or on Amazon or whatever, the books he's written, just, I read the two Met books, The Kings of Queens and After the Miracle. They were great. I want to read the Davy Johnson one, and I also want to read the Two Sides of Glory. That's about the 86 Red Sox. Because I want to read about that. I read the 86 Mets one. Now I want to read that one. And I also want to read the Mookie one. I want to read all his books because he's just a great writer and he was a great guest. And we're looking forward to having him come back on.
I was in Barnes and Noble the other day, and I did hunt down a couple of his books, so they're there as well. If you guys are in Barnes and Noble, you guys are looking for a Christmas gift or something, they're really, really great books. Check out his website. He's also got a podcast as well that's out there, The Eric Sherman Show. You could look for that. That's on Spotify and probably all the other locations for podcasts. So check it out there. But books. The one question or my one thing I got with Eric Sherman, write a book about the Yankees. That's
I know you want that
because he's so good. He's so good at writing books. I would love to see a Yankee book.
Well, when we have him back, you're gonna have to ask him that question,
yes,
and see what he says. But anyway, we got about a half a minute left. We will be back Monday at 3 p.m. I'm not sure if we have a guest yet. We'll let you guys know. Chris will put up his what do you call that thing, Chris?
The thumbnail.
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of that.
Yeah, no,
They'll
we'll put it
that
up. We'll definitely announce it. Who's out?
Yeah,
Who's
well,
on next? If
I'm
anybody's coming on Monday, but
yeah, I'm
we're young
working on it
people.
for
Yeah,
yeah, I'm working for it on Monday. But anyway, we'll be here next Monday at 3 p.m. and then we'll give you the schedule for the rest of the week. But thank you, Maria. We're glad you enjoyed the show. Thank you, Armand. We really love that you had all these comments.
yeah,
That's what we're looking for.
yeah.
We
Keep it
love when
coming. Yeah,
people,
we love the
yeah,
comments. We love
yeah,
interacting with you guys. We like it's almost like everybody's on the show with us when the comments come up. So
yeah.
we love so bring them
And
on.
we
More
had a
comments.
pretty yeah, we had a pretty good sized audience tonight, and they stuck with us, which is what we love. But anyway, all right, we will see you guys Monday at 3 p.m.